My reactions to week four of the 2024-2025 NFL season. First game of the week, Cowboys Giants. Cowboys barely escaped with the win over the Giants. They're trash. Both teams are. Um, I'm not gonna put too much on in this game, man. The Giants can't run the football. They have no running back, basically, especially not without Saquon Barkley, who's now on the Eagles. Um, and yeah, I mean the Cowboys they played pretty well, but it was still a close game. So I'm very much concerned about them. Even though I'm not a fan. Um, we'll see what happens the rest of the way though. The Cowboys they play the Steelers on Sunday, and the Giants they play the Seahawks, who are going to be looking for a bounce back game after the way they lost to the Lions. Week game two, Sunday football, Sunday morning football. Bengals Panthers. Bengals get a much needed win. Um, Previously started the season off 0-3. Usually the Bengals get off to slow starts, but especially this year they were 0-3 before this game, but they get a much needed win. And the game was close for about the first quarter and a half until like the Bengals kind of pulled away, and then they let their foot off the gas pedal, kind of let the Panthers back in, but ultimately they were able to win. Jamar Chase had an insane touchdown. Um, where nobody on the Panthers could tackle him. But yeah, the Bengals they play the Ravens in Cincinnati week five, and the Panthers they play the Bears in Chicago. Game three, Steelers Colts. Anthony Richardson for the Colts got injured. Then Joe Flacco came into the game. He scored two touchdowns off the bench. For the Steelers, it was a pretty yeah, it was a pretty close game. Justin Fields did everything he could to try to put the team on his back, but yeah, ultimately the Steelers lost. Their defense could not stop the Colts, and specifically Joe Flacco. Um, but yeah, the Steelers they play the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh, and the Colts they play the Jaguars in Jacksonville, who are desperately in need of a win, as they are now the only winless team left. Speaking of the Jaguars, Jaguars Texans, the Jaguars for the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence played better this game. He had like two touchdowns, but it still wasn't good enough. Ultimately, they just gave the Texans too many chances towards the end of the game, and the Texans finally took advantage, and C.J. Stroud really stuck a dagger through the hearts of Jacksonville's fans. And yeah, the Texans they're like I think they're 3-1. They bounced back against the Jaguars after getting embarrassed by the Vikings the week prior, and the Jaguars are, like I said, the only winless team left in football right now. I suspect that that's not gonna be for much longer because the Jaguars have too much talent. Um, but we'll see. They play the Colts in Jacksonville on Sunday, who they play very well in Jacksonville, and the Texans they play the Bills in Houston next week. But a heartbreaking loss for the Jaguars, and a great win for the Texans. Broncos Jets. This game took place in the rain. and was an absolute shit show basically. No offense could really get it going. The Jets had chances to win the game, but they just missed a field goal towards the end of the game, and the Broncos after that pulled off the upset. As the Jets missed the game-winning field goal, and yeah, bad loss for the Jets. They play the Vikings next week in London, and the Broncos they play the Raiders in Vegas. Rams Bears. I thought the Rams were gonna win this game. But Matt Stafford did not play particularly well. He had like two interceptions this game. One was to end the game to Jaquan Brisker, and for the Bears, Caleb Williams played better this game. He played pretty well this game. I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, the Bears were able to win this game. Um, they play the Panthers in Chicago next week, and the Rams they play the who do the Rams play? They play the Packers in Los Angeles. Speaking of the Packers, the Vikings against the Packers got off to a massive start. They were up 28-0. Then they left their foot off the gas pedal. Packers almost came back. Made this the score was like 22-28 at one point. But the Packers could not finish the job. Vikings kept their foot on the gas pedal. Were able to kick a game sealing field goal, and that was that. The Vikings they play the Jets in London, and the Packers they play the Rams in Los Angeles. And what's funny is about this game is that Jordan Love wore a Brett Favre jersey, which is ironic considering the fact that he played exactly like Brett Favre would. He had like three touchdowns and like four touchdowns and like three interceptions, which is exactly how Brett Favre would play. Um, but yeah, the Packers play the Rams next, and the Vikings play the Jets next in London. Saints Falcons. The Falcons won this game on a game-winning field goal kick from Young Hui Koo. Um, Towards the end of the game, they had a few opportunities to go for the kill shot touchdown. Um, Almost connected, but ultimately they settled for three, and yeah, they beat the Saints. The Saints have lost two games back to back now, and the Falcons are 2-2 now, also along with the Saints. As the Saints they play the Saints play the Chiefs on Monday night, and the Falcons play the Buccaneers tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, in two nights on Thursday. It is as it is currently Tuesday. Eagles, Buccaneers. The Buccaneers just absolutely demolished the Eagles. Eagles had a pretty nice good. They had a. I can't talk right now. The Eagles had a pretty nice win last week against the Saints, who at the time were the hottest offense in the league. Um, and this game they just got absolutely romped. They tried to make a comeback, but the Buccaneers just kept the foot on the gas pedal, and yeah, it just was a shellacking by the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield had a massive game. I think he had like three touchdowns, 300 or 400 plus passing yards. As the Buccaneers play the Falcons next, and the Eagles they play the Browns next. I think. Yeah. Actually, no, I take that back. I don't think the Eagles play this week because they're off due to a bye. Sunday afternoon games, Browns, Raiders. Browns got off to a pretty hot start. Started the game off 10-0. Then the Raiders came back, went up 20-10, and then the Browns almost came back, but then they fumbled the football, and or not actually no, the that was when the Browns were trying to come back. My bad. But yeah, Deshaun Watson looks like an absolute just bust right now. I mean, not bust, but um his contract does not look good at all. Like dude's been paid a lot of money and he's playing like absolute garbage right now. Which is kind of fitting when you consider the fact that he might actually be a garbage human being. Um, Based off of all the allegations. So I guess in a way this is called karma, but yeah, the Browns they lose, the Raiders nice win for them. They play the Broncos next week, and the Browns they play the Commanders, who are red hot right now. Patriots Niners. The Niners destroyed the Patriots. Patriots tried to make a comeback, but were unsuccessful in doing so. Nick Bosa and the Niners pretty much wrecked shop on the Patriots. Brock Purdy had a massive game too. He's played really well the last 2 weeks. Even though they lost last week. It certainly wasn't on him that they lost, but nice bounce back win for the Niners after losing the last two, and um, yeah, the Niners they play the Cardinals right now, who are struggling, and the Patriots they play the Dolphins, I think, week 5, who are also struggling. Um, Next game, Chiefs Chargers. The Chiefs won this game. Chiefs were down 10-0, but it just seems to be in every game that the Chiefs are down by like 10, at least 10 points. There's they're always in the game as long as Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback. The Chargers, for the Chargers, they were just banged up. Justin Herbert was immobile this game. After suffering an injury last week, and speaking of injuries, towards the end of the game, Rashee Rice got injured. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. He could be out for the rest of the season for the Chiefs, but if he is, that's a massive blow. But they could trade for a wide receiver. I heard Devontae Adams recently just requested a trade, so potentially, but they could also trade for Amari Cooper, who I think also wants out of Cleveland. But yeah, Rashid Rice is definitely a massive blow to the Chiefs, and if they don't make a move right, if they don't make a move, then it could be their season. Like Travis Kelsey does not look the same. Part of that is because he's possibly distracted by all the off the field issues. Well, not issues, but all the off the field drama. Still dating Taylor Swift. I don't know. I feel like it's only a matter of time before Travis Kelsey proposes to Taylor Swift. But we'll see. But the Chiefs they play a great win for the Chiefs. They play the Saints on Monday Night Football in Kansas City, and the Chargers they play, or they don't play next week actually. They have a bye week. I think they play the Broncos after their bye week though. But yeah, I guess in a way this is kind of a blessing for the Chargers because they're definitely banged up and need to recover right now. Commanders, Cardinals. The Commanders honestly are offensively they're just explosive right now. Jaden Daniels is definitely in the running right now. In my opinion, he's the number one candidate for offensive rookie of the year. Like, dude's balling this year like C.J. Stroud balled out last year. I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted about Jaden Daniels because he's obviously he's amazing. He's an amazing quarterback, but earlier on in their careers, Jalen Hurts was considered to be or that he was going to be a really good quarterback, and so was Dak Prescott when he first got drafted to the Cowboys. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but right as of right now, Jaden Daniels is balling out of his mind. The Commanders' defense is trash, but they were able to beat the Cardinals 42-14. So just absolutely demolished, wrecked shop, annihilated, blew the freaking doors off the Cardinals in Arizona, which is very impressive. They play the Browns next week in Washington, and the Cardinals. Who did the Cardinals play? Oh yeah, the Cardinals play the Niners. I just said that before. And for the Sunday night football, Bills Ravens. Bills just wrecked, or not the Bills. I'm sorry, they wrecked shop on the Jaguars last week. And after doing that, they got destroyed this week. So they were able to destroy an Jaguars team right now who's desperately in need of a win. And this week they got shellacked by the Ravens. The Ravens really set the tone. Derrick Henry really set the tone. He had an 87-yard touchdown. When the Ravens had the ball first on their first drive, he scored an 87-yard touchdown, and yeah, that really set the tone for the rest of the game. And the Ravens offensively just blew the doors off the Bills. First time that's happened for the Bills with Josh Allen as their quarterback and Sean McDermott as their head coach in a while, actually. Um, the defense played really well for the Ravens too. At the beginning of the third quarter, I'm not gonna lie, because I thought that the Bills at the beginning of the third quarter, after getting a three and out, and we're gonna possibly come back in this game. As the Ravens are prone to give up big leads in the second half. But to the Ravens' credit, they didn't let that happen again today. They kept their foot on the gas pedal and just destroyed the Bills 35-10. And for the final two games of the week, Monday football, back to back doubleheader. Titans Dolphins. The Dolphins lost their third straight. Titans, even without the mailman Will Levis, were able to get the W and beat the Dolphins like 31-13, I think. As the Dolphins desperately need a quarterback right now. If I were the general manager, I'm calling up Pittsburgh, seeing if I could trade for Russell Wilson or I don't know, maybe sign Ryan Tannehill off the street. And for the Lions or Seahawks Lions game, it was a very high scoring game, as these games between the Seahawks and Lions usually are. But for the first time in a while, the Seahawks finally lost to the Lions. Lions were able to pick up their first W in a while against the Seahawks, beating them 42-29. Um, the Lions offense just looked explosive this game. I am concerned a little bit about their defense as a Lions fan, but I think that Geno Smith just had one of those games. I don't think the Lions defense is bad. I just think they ran into a hot offense right now. But yeah, the Seahawks, they had their chances towards the end of the game. But flag on Tyler Lockett, which would have given the Seahawks a first down, as they were down by one possession. And after they failed to capitalize, or after they failed to convert the fourth down, Seahawks made them pay and pretty much threw a dagger touchdown with like 5 minutes left to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that was all she wrote basically. The Seahawks did have a few more chances towards the end of the game, but they just weren't able to convert. As great win for the Lions. They don't play next week because they're off, and the Seahawks are going to be looking to bounce back against the Giants right now. So, in another interesting week of football. We'll see what happens week 5, and yeah, I'll see y'all in my next video. Deuces.